Hello everyone, this is Naomi. Today I will give a presentation on Solinteg OGS 3.6-6 kW. It is single-phase grid-connected inverter. This presentation includes the following 5 parts: highlights, appearance, structure, key parameters, and application scenarios. Okay, let's come to the first part, the highlights. This page shows a brief introduction of what is grid-connected inverter and the working principles. The grid-connected inverter, it converts the DC power generated by PV string into AC power. The AC power can supply loads first, and then feed the excess power to the grid if there are any. On the contrary, when the inverter is insufficient to support loads, the power grid will fill the gap. Grid-connected system, it doesn't have any kinds of solar panel storage system and no batteries. This page shows the highlights of the OGS. It is powerful, and we have the 15 ampere PV input compatible with the most big current PV panels in the market. The low start voltage is 60 volt, means the longer PV generation. Also, it is 110% continuous output overloading, which means the high power generation. We have the world-leading efficiency up to 98.1%. The inverter is functional. It is designed with I-light indicator, the multifunction OLED display, and the plug-plane terminals. I-light indicator, so we can clearly know the operating modes according to the different color of the indicator. The multifunctional OLED display, customers can easy to know the working status to check data and do some basic configurations. The plug-plane terminals is very convenient and quick for installation. The inverter is intelligent. It has advanced heat dissipation, ensures the long life operation. The MPPT voltage range is very wide, 50 volt to 550 volt, so inverters can check the maxed power point at a very wide range. It has IP65 protection degree. Customer can install it indoors and outdoors. Also, you can do 24 hours smart load consumption monitoring and do the export limit. The inverter has a compact design with a lightweight, only 9.8 kilogram. Noiseless operation, so it can keep quiet with no fans design. Even you install it indoors, it will not influence your daily life. On this page, it strengthens some key highlights again. 50 ampere PV inputs, low start voltage, the wide MPPT voltage range, industrial-leading efficiency, and 110% continuous output overloading compatibility, the lightweight. All these are the key highlights of our OGS. Okay, let's come to the second part, the appearance. This is the front photo of the OGS. We have the breeze light, also called the power and alarm indicators. It shows the inverter's working status. The second one is the grid indicator, shows the grid status. Third one is communication indicator, shows the communication with the server or with our Solinteg cloud. Also, we have the multifunctional OLED display. Customers can check data and do some basic configurations through the operation button. This page shows the different color of indicators. Different color means the different working status. If the I light is off, gray means no AC output. If blue means the inverter is working normal. If red means fault occurs. This page is the right side and dimensions of the OGS. On the upside is the bank hire. When you do the installation, you need hang the inverter on the fixed bracket. This is installation holders. They're very convenient when you do the installation. This part is the inverter's nameplate. You can find the key parameters, serial numbers, and check code and extra on the nameplate. This terminal is external grounding terminal. Before you connect the DC and the AC cables, you need first to install the external grounding. You can see the dimensions and weight. Only one people is enough for doing the installation. This is the terminal appearance of the OGS. From Left to right, you can see the DC switch, the PV terminals for PV connection, the CAM1 port for connecting the communication modules such as Wi-Fi, LAN, and 4th generation. The CAM2 port is for connecting meter RS485, CT, or DIED. Also, we have the AC output terminal. Now we come to the third part, structure. For grid-connected inverter, the structure is simple. Two PV strings connect to the OGS, and the bus capacitor will storage the boosted PV power. The OGS will convert the DC power into single-phase AC power through an inverter circuit. Surge protection means SPD is supported on both DC and AC side. This page shows the internal circuit design of OGS, and more than 80% of core components are from the world-leading brands, the last generation. It will ensure the high efficiency and high reliability of inverters working. Okay, the fourth part, the key parameters. This page shows the key parameters of PV input. For DC power oversizing compatibility, it is up to 150%. Take OGS 6 kW as an example. So the max input power is 9 kW. You can connect more PV panels. More PV power can supply the load's consumption. A start voltage is 60 volt. It is lower compared with similar products. So the PV panels start generation earlier and longer. The MPPT voltage range is very wide, 50 volt to 550 volt, can adapt to various PV configurations and more PV generations in the same installation condition. The number of MPPT checkers is 2. It can adapt to 2 different orientations of PV panels. And the max input current is 15 ampere, allowed to connect the big current PV panels, such as 182 mm panels. Avoid the PV energy limited by the low input current. This page is the key parameters of AC output. We support continuous 110% AC overloading, means enabling more power generation when there is enough PV. For example, OGS 3.6 kW, the maxed output power is 3.96. Also, we support different output power range, suitable for various power grids applications. And this page shows that what the benefits 50 ampere PV input can bring to customers. In the right part, we have collected several brands of big current PV panels. The current is up to 13 or 14. So if customer use these big current panels and the inverter they are used is lower than 15 ampere, such as 11 ampere or 12.5 ampere, that will limit the current of PV panels. That will cause the power loss. But if you use the Solinteg OGS, the 15 ampere PV input, inverter will let the current of PV panels come into inverter perfectly, no limitation and no power loss. This page shows that if customer want to connect the big current PV panels more than 15 ampere, we also have solutions. You can use a Y connector to split one PV area into two to connect the PV inputs and turn on the MPPT parallel function on inverter display or on our monitoring. This page showed that the 60 volt startup voltage, what benefits they can bring to customers. The low startup voltage, the PV panels can stop work earlier and stop work later at night, so enables longer working hours a day. And generally, PV panels, their operation voltage is about 14 volt. So 2 peaks of PV panels is enough to start the inverter. Our inverter has integrated many protections to protect the device working and protect the installation and the maintenance people. These protections include the DC reverse polarity protection, isolation resistance protection, over temperature, overload, over voltage, or short circuit protection. The OGS also designed with fast stop function. Fast stop means we can stop the inverter with a press when an accident occurs and avoid system damage being enlarged. There are two interfaces inside of the communication board. If customer want this function, they can buy an external device and connect with the two interface, so this function can be realized. This page shows our excellent heat dissipation design. There are mainly three factors. The first one is the major heat dissipation components, such as inductors, capacitors, and power tubes. We located them near the edge of the inverter shell or close to the bank heat sink, which can directly dissipate heat. Second, the inverter is designed with horizontal, so we have short heat dissipation channel, which is good for the heat quickly dissipated. Last, we have aluminum A-line die casting shell and aluminum heat sink offers high thermal conductivity. So the good heat dissipation compatibility will enable the inverter working reliable and expand their lifetime. Okay, let's come to the final part, application scenarios. The first scenario is a general scenario. So we just need one inverter, the PV string, loads, and grid. But if customer want to achieve the export limit, you need to buy an external CT. So if you want to do the export limit and monitoring the 24 hours load consumption, so besides CT, you need also have a smart meter, the IM key, to match with our OGS. Last one is system extension scenarios. If there is already a energy storage system, but customer want to expand the solar compatibility, they can install the OGS together with the hybrid inverter. You see, we connected the AC together. But in this situation, you need two smart meters. One is IMM for monitoring the hybrid inverter. One is IMK for monitoring the OGS. So for more application scenario details, you can contact Solinteg technicians or Academy. Thanks for your listening.